Yehovah Elohim Sva'ot, Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Please fill me and lead me, and cover me and stir me, and speak through me with your Ruach HaKodesh, that I may speak your written words with boldness and humility to those who listen. I ask all these things in Yeshua HaMashiach's name. Amen. We'll start with the Shema. Listen and obey. Children of Yehovah, pay careful attention and respond. Yehovah is our power and authority. Yehovah works in unity with himself, and you shall act upon your love to Yehovah with your power and authority, with your thoughts and mind, with your entire body, and with all the muchness that you have. Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey. Hand, behold, nail, behold. Ezekiel chapter 41. He brought me to the sanctuary and measured at 10.5 feet the thickness of the walls on either side of its entrance, which was also the thickness of the walls surrounding the tent, that is, the sanctuary, together with the especially holy place. The width of the entrance was 17.5 feet. The sides of the entrance was 8.75 feet on one side, and the same on the other. He measured its length at 70 feet and its width 35 feet. Next, he went further in the entrance leading to the especially holy place, measured at 3.5 feet the thickness of each entrance support. He measured 10.5 feet the total thickness of the wall on either side of the entrance, and he measured at 12.25 feet the width of the entrance, continuing in the inner room. He said to me, "This is the especially holy place." He measured its length at 35 feet and its width 35 feet along the wall nearest the sanctuary. On his way out, he measured the thickness of the wall of the house at 10.5 feet at ground level, and the width of all the side rooms surrounding the house 7 feet at ground level. There were three floors of side rooms, 30 on each floor, and the wall around the house was terraced, so that the side rooms rested on the terraces and were not supported on the vertical wall parts of the wall. The higher side rooms surrounded the house were wider than the lower ones, as were the passageways next to the side rooms on each floor. Thus, the width of the side rooms plus that of the passageways increased as one went up from floor to floor. The ascent from the lowest floor to the highest was by ramp through the middle floor. I saw that the house had a raised pavement all around, in which extended outward a full rod of 10.5 feet from where the foundations of the side rooms joined it. The outer wall of the side rooms was 8.75 feet thick at ground level. Likewise, the empty space left between the structures containing the side rooms and the house itself also measured 8.75 feet wide. On all sides around the house itself was a space 35 feet wide between it and the block of rooms from the Kohanim. The doors of the side rooms opened toward an empty space, one door facing north and the other facing south. The empty space was 8.75 feet wide all around. The building on the west facing the separated yard had an interior width of 122.5 feet, an interior length of 157.5 feet, and exterior walls 8.75 feet thick all the way around. He measured the length of the house at 175 feet, then a distance that included the width of the separated yard, the interior width of the building, and the thickness of its front and back exterior walls at 175 feet. The distance along the facade of the house on the east through the separated yards to the north and south were 175 feet. He measured the length of the building facing the separated yard behind the house, together with its galleries on both sides, at 175 feet. The sanctuary, the inner place, and the vestibules leading from the house to the courtyard, as well as the thresholds Narrow windows and galleries around these three had wood paneling around them as far as the thresholds and from the ground up to the windows, and the windows were covered. From the area above the entrance to the interior of the house, as well as outside and on the interior wall, all the way around, both inside and outside, was a pattern consisting of cherubim and palm trees, with a palm tree between every two cherubim. Every cherub had two faces, so that there was a face of a man toward the palm tree on its one side, and the face of a young lion toward the palm tree on its other side. This was the pattern all the way around the house. The cherubim and palm trees ran from the ground to above the door, and likewise on the wall of the sanctuary. As for the sanctuary, the two door frames were squared, and the appearance of the especially holy place was like the appearance I saw at the Kebar River. The altar was of wood, 5¼ feet high and 3½ feet long. Its length and walls were also of wood. He said to me, "This is the table which is in the presence of Yehovah." The sanctuary had two doors, and the especially holy place had two doors. The doors had two swinging leaves each, 2 leaves for the one door and 2 for the other. On them, that is, on the doors of the sanctuary, were carved cherubim and palm trees like those on the walls, and on the exterior facade of the outside entrance were thick beams of wood. There were narrow windows flanked by palm trees on both sides of the entrance. The side rooms of the house and the thick beams also had palm trees. How can we learn to love our Creator after reading this fascinating 41st chapter of Ezekiel, detailing the especially holy place? We can trust Yehovah will bring you where He wants you to be in His time. Know that once again, there will be a place where Yehovah will dwell, and it is the especially holy Kadosh place. Know that Yehovah is the master builder and the master architect. Know that Yehovah is awesome and uses keruv for reasons we may never know. Trust that the presence of Yehovah will once again be located here on earth. How can we love others as Yeshua loves us? Point all to Yehovah, the master builder. Bear one another's burdens. Trust Yehovah will bring you where He wants you to be in His time. Produce spiritual fruit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, humility, and self-control. We'll end this Friday night Shabbat with the Arianic blessing using the name. Yehovah will kneel before you presenting gifts, and He will guard you with a hedge of protection. Yehovah will illuminate the wholeness of His being toward you, bringing order, and He will provide you with love, sustenance, and friendship. Yehovah will lift up the wholeness of His being and look upon you and will set in place all you need to be whole and complete. Shabbat shalom, shalom, shalom.